Walls today in his news conference saying that he spoke with the mayors of Duluth, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Rochester. Rochester Mayor Kim Norton talking about that conversation. How did it go? How did it start? And what was obviously COVID-19 was at the center of it.
Certainly. The pandemic has increased the amount of communication we have with the governor's office, although I've had several calls with him over the last year periodically. I received a call this morning from a staff member saying he's planning on calling at some point, just look for the call. And he did, in fact, personally make a call. We had a really nice, brief conversation, but a nice conversation. He wanted to know what were the major issues that I'm hearing about as mayor in this community. And was there anything special I wanted him to know about and to be thinking about in the times ahead? So it was just that opportunity to share.
And what are the concerns? What is it that would make Rochester maybe a little bit different than Minneapolis, St. Paul, or Duluth?
Well, some of the things are probably very similar, actually. The two things I mentioned quickly were the calls I'm getting from area businesses and employees who are concerned about the impact this is having on their business and their personal income and future. So whether the calls are coming from the business owners themselves saying, what am I going to do? This is drastically affecting my business. Hotels, for instance, some of the small local-owned hotels, everybody's canceled, so they're at 15 to 30%, depending on which chain and which person you talk to. They have a huge drop in their reservations, and what are they going to do? How can they stay in business? How can they keep their employees working? Yeah. And many of them are concerned about that. And then the employees themselves call saying, what do I do? I've been laid off. There was one contact that I saw. I got laid off and my business isn't considered, I can't apply for unemployment insurance because I wasn't really fired or laid off. I'm just 0 hours.
We've been hearing a lot of that as well.
Exactly.
What do you tell them?
Well, right now, I said I would do what I could to make sure that this is known to people. So this was one of the things I wanted to tell the governor. There are needs among employees and businesses themselves and communication that has to happen. I shared that information with our team at the city that's working on economic issues, led by Terry Spaeth. And we've been having daily phone calls with businesses, Rochester Downtown Alliance, Ready, the Chamber of Commerce, and others, to say what can we do now with this money that the City Council approved, that we really need to use that money for filling the gaps of things that the state and federal funds aren't taking care of. We don't want to go out and duplicate. We want to make certain that we're filling the gaps with the city's money. And then there's also another issue that I raised, which was our homeless population. Dorothy Day House will be closing on Friday, so that will put another 15 or 20 people on the streets. And we just last night opened a second site for the warming center in order to deal with the proximity issues, the social distancing, which they're unable to do in that small venue. So we opened a second one. Well, now we're going to get another, say, 20 people. And will that be enough room? And so the county's been working really hard and saying, maybe those hotel rooms that are empty, maybe Dorothy Day House would be willing to lease that to another organization to run. But frankly, all the organizations are struggling right now with volunteers. So it's a challenge. Catholic Charities has told us they're going to stay open. They're going to continue to serve the homeless population. And now with the library closed, the other issue I talked to the governor about is, we've done what you've suggested we do. Now we need a place for people. So can you offer us some help and ideas?
We have to talk about, and I will take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the activation of the Emergency Operations Center.
Sure.
We'll be right back.